Hey everybody, this is Dan with Faster and Louder. So if you're new, which you probably are because I don't really have any subscribers, but if you're new, this is a video about the car behind me, the Bitchin' Banana. It's a 2010 Challenger RT. Right now, there's probably like 10 videos up right now, and there's really not a lot about like the beginning of the process, what actually started this whole thing. So right now it kind of just looks like a bunch of random videos, which sort of is. So I'm just kind of going to explain that a little bit. Okay, so this whole thing is a budget build. I'm not trying to spend a lot of money. I'm trying to actually do as much as I can without spending a ton of money. So starting out on the whole list of things that have been done, so far I started out with Shorty headers. They're JBA Shorty headers, brand new. They're usually about $500 or $600. I actually scored a set off of Craigslist from a guy locally, and he was selling them for, I believe, like $140 for the set, or $120, something like that. So I picked them up really cheap. They were pretty low mileage. They looked almost brand new. So I got those, installed them. I also found a cold air intake. It's an R2C cold air intake. I found that on the internet, and I got that for pretty cheap too, like half the price of new. I got a tuner from Diablo, and it's an older one, but it still has a 91 octane tune on it, so I have that done. Let's see, what else? I put a Precision Industries torque converter in it. It's a 2800 RPM stall, and I also got that used for, I think it's like $160, and brand new those are like $800. They're pretty pricey. So I did all that. I also put in a higher performance TCM. That's for the transmission. It just controls the transmission behavior, like when it shifts and how hard it shifts, all that stuff. So that's from an SRT. That really didn't make a whole lot of difference, but I'll get into that a little bit later maybe. So I had the transmission modifications. Those are actually pretty difficult.
Maybe it's just connecting the engine to the transmission shift. It's a pain in the ass.
I think it always is. It's just, there's no way around it. The headers also were not very fun. I did the Kilduff Shifter, which is really nice. I really like it. It's a huge improvement over the factory shifter. That's not really like a necessary thing if you're trying to like follow this build, maybe do something similar, but it's definitely a recommended modification if you're asking me, and that was about $500. I got that as a Christmas gift though, so that doesn't really go towards my total. Overall, I spent about $1,400 on all my parts over the course of a little over a year. So when you average it out, it comes up to about $100 a month or so. So I'm not like stretching myself super thin, but that does not include the wheels that I just got, the Demon Replica wheels and tires, which is actually more expensive than everything else that I've done to this car so far. I also did not include in that price the wrap on the hood and the spoiler. One thing that is included in my $1,400 that I've spent so far on this car is the cam and some of the parts that go with it to install it. That also includes a valve spring tool that's specifically made for Hemis. That costs about $400 or so, I think, or $500 maybe. But I haven't even installed that yet because it requires a dyno tune, or at least that's the way I'm gonna do it, is a dyno tune. And that costs like another $400. So I'm kind of waiting on that. And I think that's pretty much it. Like there's not really a whole lot of other things that I want to do to this car besides maybe cosmetic stuff. So once the cam, the 392 cam is installed, and I get that dyno tuned, there's really not a whole lot more that I want to do. But it depends. Plans change, and I am a little flexible to that. I just don't know what I'm going to do yet. I could do the whole rear axle and differential swap. So I could get the I think it's 372 rear gears, which would definitely be a huge improvement over the 306 gears that are in it right now. And it also gives me like a true limited slip differential if I did do the swap. But that's like a $1,500 thing to do, so not really sure if I want to look into that right away. So like I said, I spent about $1,400 on everything. Most of it was used whenever I could. That doesn't necessarily mean you should buy everything used. It definitely has its time and place, I guess. I think the biggest thing I took a risk on was the torque converter. Torque converters could be messed up. They can be filled with like metal shavings and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I took a chance on that, and so far it's worked out pretty good for me. Unfortunately, I haven't had anything tuned really yet. All I have is the 91 octane tune. So it does run maybe a little bit better, but nothing is tuned to where it should be. And that includes the transmission and everything else. So once that happens, I'm hoping everything will kind of come together and I'll get the performance that I want. Like, it doesn't run bad right now, but it definitely has room for improvement, and I'm hoping that the dyno tune makes a difference on that. That being said, everything, if I bought it brand new, just the parts that I have right now, it would have cost me about $3,500 instead of $1,400. So huge savings there, and that doesn't include all the labor costs. If I had somebody do all this for me, like, I've spent easily 50 hours. Ivan and I, my stepdad, who helps me out with like everything, big thanks to you. If we didn't do all this stuff ourselves, this would have been way more expensive. I mean, 50 hours, you're talking like at least like $100 an hour for labor. That's $5,000 just in labor. So if I bought all this stuff new and had somebody else do it, you're talking at least $8,000 instead of the $1,300. I mean, not everyone can do that, and not everyone wants to do that, which I totally understand and respect. But if you want to do it cheap like I am, that's kind of what you gotta do. You just gotta like get parts used when you can and do stuff yourself when you can. The only thing I haven't done myself so far is obviously the wheels and the tires and the exhaust, which is another thing. It has the Shorty headers, but it also just has the cats on it, factory cats, and the X pipe. That's the entire exhaust. Besides that, there's nothing, which is why it has pretty loud sound. Actually sounds pretty good in my opinion. So there you have it, guys. That's pretty much everything that I've done to this car so far, and kind of touching into what I might do in the future. I'm not really going to say too much about what I want to do, like in the big picture. We'll kind of just get there when we get there. But yeah, that's everything with the car. I hope you guys liked the video and explanation, and let me know if you want to know anything else in the comments. Please like the video and subscribe. Thanks, guys.